is how you guys pronounce the band?
Phavian.
Phavian.
Yeah.
Sorry, I must have gotten you confused with a different band. Anyway, we're here with Phavian, and these guys are an awesome, awesome prog rock, prog metal band out of California. And right now, the big drive is getting them some gas money so they can go on tour for about 3.5 months, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we have three of you here. I know the lead singer is Elizabeth is on her way. Um, can we introduce who we have with us so far?
I'm Rob. I'm Patrick.
I'm Puya.
All right, guys. So obviously, you guys have been playing together for a while. How did you get together? How did you get started as a band?
Yeah. All right. So the way we started was Puyan and I. Well, I don't know where he is on the screen. Puyan and I are brothers, and at some point he had decided that he wanted a drummer to play while he was, making noise on guitar, and that is your ear, Puyan. Uh, and what ended up happening was he had me get a drum kit, and we kept playing and writing songs, and eventually it kind of just formed into Fabian. But it when it first started, it was just me and him writing songs, being madmen essentially. And it took us some time, but we eventually found Jason. There was Before Rob was in the band, we had another guitarist named Tomo. He was one of the first members, and we performed actually with the four of us as an instrumental band before we ever even found Elizabeth. And then she joined the band, and not too long after that, Tomo left, ended up with Rob, and Rob's been shredding since then in our band. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty much your brother story in a band where two brothers have way too much time on their hand, and they decide that they want to be rock stars.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you've gone through a couple of lineup changes already. How does can you just describe the last time you guys had to change band members? How'd that go for you? Because I know for many of us going through the band thing, it's traumatic.
Yeah. It took us actually a really long time to find Rob. When Tomo left the band, that was in 2009 or maybe 10, I forget exactly what year. We actually spent a pretty good amount of time looking for guitarists. Rob was actually the first person I had asked because I'd known him before, but at the time he wasn't able to commit, and it wasn't until like 2 years later that he finally said, "Hey, yeah, I think I'm ready and willing." And in that time, we actually just had one of our friends filling in, and he did a great job. He's actually on the records that we're releasing right now. Omida Zadyar is his name, and he did a great job. But he didn't want to be a band member, and so he definitely helped us a lot in those in that amount of time. But it was very difficult, and we were facing a serious problem before Rob joined. We play very strange music, and so when we were looking for a guitarist, we had to find somebody who was able to play it, willing to play it, and willing to kind of go into our strange world of music. And a lot of guitarists out here, they want to be rock stars or something like that, and they weren't great fits, and um, it was difficult. That's the most I can explain. Is just we were honestly worried because Fabian doesn't really work as a four piece. It is built and constructed to be a five piece, and so yeah, it was traumatic.
Well, I actually really like the music. Obviously, halfway through the campaign, if I recall correctly,
I think yeah, just a little bit over half now.
and you're just about halfway to the $5,000 goal, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you are actually looking for gas money to tour. You're planning on touring for about 3.5 months.
Yeah.
All right. How long? What cities are you going to hit? Where are you planning on going? How long are you planning on traveling?
Well, I mean, this is a gigantic tour to say the least. We're going to be hitting lots of cities. We're starting here in LA and going down into Arizona and Texas, Louisiana, up to Tennessee and Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, over into Denver, Utah, Idaho, then up to Seattle and down. And I mean every state in between as well. I was just kind of drawing the map,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean we move a little bit slow because we're playing two shows in almost every city. We're doing an acoustic show and an electric show because we're kind of like a dual-sided band. Um, about a year ago, we decided it was finally time to build an interesting acoustic set instead of just like a straight up like, oh, let's grab a guitar and have Elizabeth sing over it. We actually like redid every song, and so we really wanted to showcase it because Meridian 2 is the first album we have that has on a I knew that was gonna happen. Meridian 2 was actually the first album we have with a real acoustic song. Absolutely no electric guitars on there, and there's not even a drum kit. And so, we decided this was the right tour to do it. And because of that, and because honestly, it's also we like to we like to hit smaller cities. We don't just want to be like, okay, let's hit Chicago, and let's hit Kansas City and Nashville and New York. We'd rather find our fans everywhere because not everybody lives in a big city, and so we travel very slowly. And so it's going to take us 3.5 months to go that entire route, and it's a monstrous tour.
Now, I've got it. Do you guys all still have day jobs? Are you taking like a 3.5 month leave of absence, or is this it? Is Favian it?
For each one of it's a little bit different. I luckily work from my computer, um, and so I am actually just continuing to work on the road. So I'm doing double duty. I'm being a touring musician and a computer programmer.
I'm quitting my job tomorrow.
I'll promise not to tell your boss until you do.
No, I'm welcome back, but I pretty much quit.
Okay, so you've quit. So basically, since a couple of you are relying on this, we have to turn it into a profitable tour of on some level, correct?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we got to get some bodies out there. Everybody go see them. Now I noticed Pittsburgh wasn't on your tour list.
Yeah, I know, and I wish it was because one thing you can ask anybody in the band about it. I wanted to eat an authentic Philly cheesesteak, and I know not right there, but it's close enough that I could go get one. And so,
You do know Philadelphia is like 5.5 hours in the opposite direction, right?
still closer
Oh,
to where we're going to be, and closer than I've ever been in my entire life.
That's true. That's true. And actually, I am a Philadelphia girl. I was born and bred in Philadelphia.
How good are
And
you?
yeah, the Philly cheesesteak is a definite must have. Is a definite must have.
It's so
So
horrible here.
and the Philly
um,
taco.
on the tour, you guys, I understand, are doing it all DIY, right? You've got no roadies, you've got no managers, you've got no you've got no one to help but yourselves. Is that correct?
You want to take one?
Yes.
Good pose.
So it's just you guys on the tour. Um, how did you come up with the band name?
That was actually it was a mistake. Honestly, what happened is we knew we wanted a very like original name. I didn't want it so when somebody Googles us, it's like, oh well, where are you? Because I do SEO stuff, search engine stuff, and so I was big on making sure that when you Googled us, we were the only thing happening, and we were looking for like in different fantasy things. I happen to like vampires pre Twilight ever existing, first of all. But I was looking through vampire names and I found one called Savant, and I had proposed it to everybody, and it was like, okay, like let's put that on the list. Like maybe that'll be one of the names. And Fuyan actually the following day or so had said, hey, what was that name? Was it Phavian or something like that? And so we all looked around. We're like, that's the name. That's a much better name than Phavian or anything else we had come up with. Um, and because I think we're all kind of fans of like single name bands, it ended up working. And so we went with that, and it's a completely made up word because it was just a byproduct of Queen's dyslexia. Um, and so, um, yeah, it's stuck. And sure enough, if you Google Fabian, I don't even know how many results of just us now. And so it's fun.
Well, that's a good marketing tip. Um, who writes all of your stuff? Do you guys write as a group? Does somebody do most of the writing and then kind of let everybody else fill in the parts? How do you handle the creative duties?
Yeah,
Can you hear me right now? I haven't been.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
the way it usually works is we come up with the ideas individually, and then
Did you
from
guys not hear
there.
the question? Or
She can't hear me.
Can you not hear Fuyan?
I can't hear Puyan. No.
Okay.
Okay, Patrick, fill in.
Okay. Yeah, basically what will happen is somebody in the band will bring an idea. So you might write a guitar riff, or Jason will write a bass riff, or something like that.
Hmm.
And usually what ends up happening is um, we'll take that single idea and score it out because we're a bunch of music nerds. So we usually score everything out before we ever learn a song, and we'll literally be emailing each other like parts of the score saying, this is what I think this bass part could be, or this is what I think the guitar part will be. So sometimes you'll get a song where it's primarily Kuyan wrote a guitar riff. Sometimes it'll be a part where I actually wrote the guitars and whatever else is on the song, and or any of the members do that. And so it's just kind of it's I don't know. I guess it's like a scoring collaborative is how it ends up working. And depending on which album, one person might have a little more say in that album. But usually, what ends up happening is I'll just compile it all and put it together, and then we'll end up with the whole thing, and we'll then suffer for the next however many months trying to actually learn the parts that we wrote on a computer that none of us know how to play.
That is brilliant because I do the same thing actually.
Right?
Um, so who are your major influences? Where do you draw the inspiration from?
Opeth is definitely a huge one for us. They're probably like the biggest single influence within the band. But it kind of varies throughout. Obviously, prog bands are our biggest influence. You have like Porcupine Tree or anything Stephen Wilson does. Orphan Land. Elizabeth just joined us. If you can see her, she now has.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
But yeah. But then each person, has their own influences that they pull into the band. So like, I'm actually a huge fan of like J-pop and stuff like that, like really random things like that, or just world music. And so you might not hear it very much, but that does like influence how I think. Rob, what are some various things you look
Dream Theater, classic prog. Yes. Like Palmer, I'm wearing an ELP shirt right now. Stuff like that.
and then Elizabeth?
My influences are like Michael Jackson, Queen. I'm a huge fan of James Shooter, and Rush as well. So yeah.
And then
All over.
Puyan can't be heard right now, so I'll just speak for him. You can say, Enslaved, Amon Amarth. Actually, for both him and I, there was a lot of like the '90s like alternative rock, hard rock, whatever you want to call it, scene. So yeah, I'm drawing a blank like Korn and stuff like that. It made a huge influence on us initially. Now I'd say a little less, but definitely prog bands is the core of it.
Very cool, very cool. So you guys handle all of your own marketing and stuff. Do you handle all of your own recording? Did Did you go to a studio to record the last album? Did you do it in somebody's basement? Where did you end up doing the recording?
It's a little bit of both, actually. The vast majority of it was in a studio. We went to a studio, actually not too far from our rehearsal space in Torrance, California, and we did the drums and the guitars and the vocals there. But then afterwards, we ended up doing lots of keyboards on my rig here at my house, and anything else we've touched up. So there's like extra guitars that we went in, and that was either through like you know, plugins or just through I'm drawing a blank on what they're called, virtual instruments. And so lots of things like that were done, but it's a combination of both professional studio and our own home rigs.
Awesome. So you guys, now I know you guys actually responded pretty quickly when I shot you an email. How do you normally like to keep in touch with your fans? Do you like the email? Do you prefer the social media?
Well, I think we like always. I mean, social media is really great. Twitter and Facebook, it's really easy just to have like a conversation with our fans there. Yeah, and email is great as well. I mean, any way that people want to come in contact with us and tell us that they enjoy our music and, you know, want to be friends with us and be our fans, we're happy to talk to them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Random hugs on the street are always much appreciated
Yes.
too.
We'll try and get you some. We'll try and I'll make sure that goes out when we actually post the interview.
I'm
You know, if you see this band on the street, please hug.
Yeah, I'll just put it out there that if you really want the best hug ever, you get right between Cleon and Rob, and you have them smash you. It's called a Phavian sandwich.
We are amazing huggers.
So I was watching the new video this morning on Indiegogo.
Rob.
So, where did you guys get the idea for that video? Because I thought it was hysterical. If you haven't seen the video yet, you have to go to Indiegogo and check it out. But how did you even come up with the idea of that?
David Letterman's Top 10, he does it. I don't know. And I guess I've got a lot of T-shirts with faces on them, but not very many with my friends or people that aren't family.
At the pub.
So where do you guys get the idea for your lyrics?
Well, Patrick wrote most of the lyrics for the first album, and he wrote some of them for these albums, but I wrote the majority of them for Meridian 1 and Meridian 2. Basically, I mean, all of our albums are concept albums, which you can read about on our website, and you know, what are you doing?
A burp.
Thank you for that. So yeah, basically we just, you know, figure out where a song fits in the concept, and then I write the lyrics to apply to the story for the concept, and that's where we get most of the ideas.
Mm-hmm. It's really great. I don't know you were here, but it's really nice to get a new spin on your primary jobs, at least for the next couple months while you're on tour. How do you keep it going every day? How do you get up and just go, you know what, we're just going to make it work?
Nutella.
Great. I think a lot of us want, I mean, this is our dream to like perform music and be able to travel across the country and hopefully travel the world very soon. And I mean, that's motivation for me personally enough, is to be able to get up and go and play music, and that would be like the highlight of our day or our month or our year, you know, being able to play music to new people and get new people to enjoy our music. And that's what keeps me going. I don't know about these guys. Nutella.
Powered by Oreos.
So if you put the Nutella and the Oreos together, what do you end up with?
Okay.
Nutella Oreo.
S'moreos is the greatest thing in the entire world. You know what a s'more is, right?
Yes.
Okay. What you do is you put an Oreo in there too, and it melts, and it is delicious. S'moreos. And you know what? I'll just put it out there that if Oreos knows what's good for them, they're going to start putting Nutella in their cookies too, and then I will be the laziest man in the world because I won't be doing anything but eating Nutella cereal.
All right. So what is your what's the ultimate goal here? What do you guys are you looking for a record label? Are you looking to just be an indie band that can make it by touring? Progfest in Atlanta? What's the or Prog Power? I'm sorry, not Progfest. Prog Power in Atlanta.
Prog Power is definitely one of those things that we've wanted to do for a while. Actually, this year, Jason, our bassist, who's missing right now, completely got my hopes up because Pain of Salvation came through, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're a band that like, I wanted to see forever. And so just like being able to play something like that would definitely be amazing to us. But at the end of the day, we just want to be able to do this all the time. It's kind of a hassle when you go on tour for 3.5 months and then you're going to come back and know that like, oh, some of us might have to like do a side job or something to continue to pay the bills. And so ultimately, whatever way that takes us to get there, we'll do it. We've found that record labels aren't necessarily our way to go. I don't think there's that many record labels that want a prog band, honestly, especially one that writes like 12-minute songs sometimes. And so doing it DIY has kind of been both a blessing and a curse. You get to do whatever you want, but it also means that you don't have somebody to kind of smack you and just like, no, that's wrong. That's not the way to do this. So we'll continue doing it, and if a record label pops up, we're open to discussion. There's no reason we wouldn't be, but for now, we're going to do DIY and hope that we can just continue going on tour, writing albums, releasing, and people are happy. I mean, it would be great to, look back and be like, hey, here's our 30-year reunion, and can't believe we've been doing this for 30 years, and people are totally digging what we're doing. Some of the bands we've been watching, how long has Rush been together now?
Oh,
Almost 40.
Yeah, they're on almost 40, and they're like this iconic band to almost everybody who listens to music, and it's strange because they always walk this line of like we release a pop song and then we go and release an album that nobody even knows about, but they've been doing it for so long, and people are absolutely digging it. And I don't think there's a musician or really anyone on the face of the planet that would ever say anything bad about Rush. It's like everybody says they're awesome and I love them. And then you have movies where their entire goal is to go see Rush.
Yeah.
So I'd like that to happen to us.
Are you planning at any point here in the future to start up a fan club, or do you have a fan club?
I've never even crossed my mind. I know that.
Yeah.
We need to come up with a fan club name.
Yeah, what would be a good fan club name?
Fans of Phavian with a
Yeah,
PH.
it's true. We've done that before, saying fans of Phavian, PHANS.
Maybe
Yeah.
But
You could do that. You could do, you could release videos of your gigs and all for those of us who are stuck a couple thousand miles in the other direction and can't get there. Put some videos out for the fan club or, demo versions, whatever.
That would be cool.
yeah, I mean, I know there's a couple venues on this tour that are they're actually recording the gig for us, and I mean, I don't know because we've never been there, but they say it's like really high quality professional video. So that'd be awesome because the thing with us is we always at the end of the gig look and say, "Oh, we totally forgot to put the camera up."
Yeah.
And it's literally like as soon as like we get off stage, we like look and it's in our lockbox, and we're like, "What is wrong with us?" It's like somehow Phavian does not want to be in video. I think.
I know, because I actually remembered you guys were going on tour the one weekend, and I said, well, send me some video, and I never got it. So I guess that was one of the weeks you forgot to pull the camera out.
No.
Yeah, I've had friends in like Ireland ask me for video, and then the following week be like, "Where is it?" And we're just like, "We're gonna have to do like a house show for you because we forgot to record it."
Or we can't get the sound right.
Yeah, that's
You could even do something. Could you do something on Skype where you do an acoustic show, or something like Skype, something like FaceTime, where you do an acoustic show and let people tune in?
Yeah, I know that's actually something we've discussed before. As you learned today, this is the first time we've ever done Google Hangout, and so this would actually be, I think, a great platform as well because you, I mean, the people are there and they get to interact with you too, so you actually get to hear cheering or like they could yell out song requests or something like
Mhm.
that. That's definitely something we're open to. Uh, we just have to figure out the technical details to it, honestly. But there's no reason we wouldn't, aside from it's not possible. But I don't think that's the case.
No, and it's getting better every time. I mean, this is just a great time to be a musician, particularly a DIY musician, because you can do so much of it. There was a time where you wouldn't have been able to produce a decent enough recording in your own house, and now you can mix and match, or you can do it completely in your own house, and it sounds in many instances really really good. You know,
Yeah.
better than some of the stuff that is marketed professionally, I think. Um, So, what is it? I know we started out talking about the Indiegogo campaign, and I'd kind of like to end on the Indiegogo campaign. Your goal is $5,000, so that you don't have to make the lead singer push the van, right? Right.
Yeah.
I might make her anyway.
Hmm.
And how close are you? What are the? I know I looked. You're about halfway, just a little bit under halfway. How close are you really to that goal?
We're about about
Yeah,
halfway.
halfway is correct. I know that we have some family members between all of us that are definitely interested in donating.
Right.
Um, but it's hard to ask your family for stuff. We'll let them do their thing. Um,